Welcome back. Today we're going to do 4 examples of graphing linear functions in point-slope form. So let's get to it. All right, so keep in mind that point-slope form in general looks like this. Y minus y1 is equal to slope times x minus x1, where x1 and y1 represent a point and m represents the slope. And so if we have a point that we can plot on here on this graph and also the slope, that's enough information to give us a second point and therefore let us graph the line. So first, let's find what the point is on here. So on this one specifically, the point is -4, 5. And a lot of people ask me here, well, how come the signs changed, right? This says +4 and this says -5, but I wrote -4 and +5. So why did the signs change? And the reason that the signs change is because recall that in our original equation, we have negative signs. And so this negative sign here is this negative sign here in our general equation. And then y1 itself is +5. And the same holds true for the x1, right? Here we have this negative sign, and here we have a positive sign. And so how can we go from negative to positive? Well, recall that 2 negative signs is the same as a positive. So I could rewrite this as 3 times x minus -4. Recall that that's the same thing as x plus 4. And so this one here matches this this negative sign right there. And then our actual value for our x value of our point is -4. Okay, so that's why it's always the opposite of what we would imagine because the negative signs are already there. So if there's one negative sign, it's the one that's already there, and our point is actually, that part of our point is actually positive. And if we have something positive, that positive actually came from 2 negatives, one of which was in the equation, the other of which wasn't, and is part of our point. And so that's why it's kind of always the opposite signs of what we would think, perhaps. Okay, so there we go. There's our point. And what about the slope? What is the slope in this case? Well, slope is the value right here. It's 3. So now let's get into graphing this. So let's start with graphing. I'm going to label a couple of my points here. -2, -4, -6, -8, 2, 4, 6, 8, like that. So -4, 5 would be right here. So let's plot that point. And the slope is 3. So that means that we go over 1 and up 3. Because recall that slope is the same as rise over run. And in this case, the slope is 3. That means the rise is 3, the run is 1. So we're going to go up 3 and over 1, right? Up 3 and over 1, like that, to find our next point. And then, now that we have 2 points, the nice thing about linear functions is once we have 2 points, that is enough points that we can accurately represent what the graph will look like pretty easily. And so I'm just going to draw a nice line between my points. And there we go. Excellent. All right, let's move on to the next one here. For this next one, we have that our point is going to be 1, -2, and our slope is -2 thirds. All right, so first I'm going to draw my point. 1, -2 is going to be right there. And I'll label a few points on my graph here as well. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. -2, -4, -6, like that. And then my slope is -2 over 3. So that means that the rise is -2, so we should go down 2. And then the run is 3, so we should go to the right by 3. And that's how we should find our second point. And again, now that we have 2 points, we need to just draw a line between them. And we are good to go. Okay, let's do 2 more examples. So for this next one here, our point is going to be 4 and -7. And our slope is -1, because notice this negative sign here, this indicates -1 as our slope, right? If there was nothing there, it would just be 1. But because there is something there, that represents a slope. The negative sign represents a slope of -1. Okay, so that means we're going to start with our point of 4, -7. So that's going to be way down there. And I'll label a few points on my graph as well. Somewhat label this graph. All right, and then our slope is -1. So that means we're going down 1 and over 1 each time. So our next point would be here. We go down 1 over 1. And then I'm just going to draw a nice line. Like that. And there we go.